Alright. Hello, world, and welcome back to my virtual reality space. Welcome to my segment where I share without Redact everything that I'm doing within my business in order to hopefully help someone on their journey of either opening a business or the thought process of starting one. So last week I spoke about the camera that I use. A subscriber asked me, hey, how is it that you're doing that? And so I spent a little bit of time explaining that I'm using this software here, and it allows me to share in 4K and in 1080p because not all platforms currently accept 4K. Alright, so it looks like we are all caught up on YouTube. So I'm gonna let X know which platform we're currently live on. Alright, so today, let me just move this over here. Today we are talking about following the data and verifying in order to grow. And so what that means is about 2-3 weeks ago, we went over what could have possibly caused that spike back right towards the end of May, and there was this huge influx of viewers to the platform. So now I know what I did, and so my goal was to be able to recreate that in the best way possible. And so I started to invest my time into making sure that the content I create and the things that I do on the back end all add up to ensure that there is a influx or an increase of influx of viewership that comes to the platform. Now, what I'm saying might not make much sense because it's like, okay, well, how can any one person control the data? Or, how do you know what you're doing? Well, the thing about it is, to verify, I can also come here to X and bring up the same analytics to show that around the same time, right towards the end of May, there was this huge influx. But what I've done since is, it's almost like back in the day, I used to ride a motorcycle where you go through, in the beginning you start going and then you change the gear, which means you hold in the clutch, you change the gear, so you lose acceleration right around April. And then because you're now changing gear, you can now pick up more steam, so you're moving again, but then you're pressing the clutch again and it goes down. And so what I had aimed to do is, I now drive electric, so I want to see a smooth, consistent increase. So as you can see, it's right towards the end of May where that big spike was. After that, there's no more up and then going back down because I've already started to see the algorithm of what I'm doing and how it affects my content versus the amount of people being able to view. So I have taken the time to not just create my videos, but go back and watch them. And I've noticed that on my end, it might seem like everything is fine, but on the recorded end, things look a little bit different. And I've noticed the things that may have caused the stream to slow down, and I'm adjusting in real time. And that is why you see that influx. And so everything that you decide to do in the business will be reflected not just on, let's see the lifetime scale here, not just on like a short period, because I just started this channel in January, And like I was saying, right towards the end of May, I had that huge influx. And as you can see, about 2 weeks ago, we talked about getting back up to those viewer numbers. And as you can see, it periodically got right up to where it is. There is a downtrending line now, so I am expecting a little bit of a pullback, but I am aiming to ensure that it does not fall back down to where you can see down in here where there's this, nice little dip, because this was a period of pullback to ensure that whatever caused this and this was actually consistent. So this is me starting, and then I started to go. You're doing it like a motorcycle. You're changing gears, and you're like, hold on, is what I'm doing actually working? Then you get a little spike and you're like, yeah, it does work. And then it's like, okay, let's make sure that the algorithm that I'm doing is actually trending upwards. And that's where you see that difference there. Now, I am actually trying my hardest to ensure that these videos are kept really, really short and to the point. So, I'm sharing everything that's happening on the back end to make sure that everyone can see that I have nothing to hide. I'm doing nothing illegal. I'm simply applying myself, making myself the algorithm to learn as much as I can about my space in order to actually grow. And so if there's anyone out there who is on the journey and they are seeking some help, someone to coordinate with within the space, time is money, and I did graduate college and I do know what I'm talking about, and I do have the ability to spot and isolate incidents in order to either create growth or to expand you personally. And that's why I have my Patreon page where you're able to see I have 2 services, and whichever service it is that suits you best, go ahead and reach out to me that way. Or if you just have some basic questions about if this would even work for you, you could just go ahead and reach me directly on Discord, and the links for both of those will be in the description below. So now I would like to tell you about next week's episode, and it is going to be networking. And what I mean by networking is, if you look there, this shows how many subscribers I have. And so I'll be going over what getting into the wrong spaces can actually do, because my intention is to grow, not to have my sub counts go negative. And to show what I mean, I'll go to Lifetime, and you'll be able to see that there was previous incidents of a dip, but nothing like what just happened. And so join me next week when I'll be going over that. I'll be breaking it down and making sure that we kind of understand what getting into the right spaces can do for you. Well, it's about that time of the day. I want to thank everyone for coming out. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. It really means the world to me, and it helps my channel out a lot. And until next time when we meet again, remember to go outside, touch the ground, look at the sky, and stay hydrated.